Hello, and good morning, world, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode. And what a season here with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, as we embark on what will be another great episode this morning. And so, yes, well, we are back like a shark attack, back like we left some, back like we ain't got no clothes on our back, and for the world is a better place when the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is taking place. And so, thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we conversate about the latest sports topics that have taken place from this past week and will be upcoming this week. It is always a blast to have you all tune in and participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, on Instagram at the Early Morning Sports Talk POD, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price, Jamar Goodman, and Jones, as well as our guests for this weekend. Today is November the 23rd of 2023, and we have seen yet again another fascinating week in the sports world, where we saw the Dallas Cowboys take down a motivated Seattle Seahawks team in what was a truly competitive and fun Thursday night showdown. We also saw Daz Bryant put ESPN's Malika Andrews, as well as the ESPN network, on blast for a lack of coverage on the Oklahoma City Thunder's Josh Giddey, whom has allegedly and uncomfortably had relations with a teenage girl. On the other hand, the Chicago Bulls impressively took down the Milwaukee Bucks Thursday night without DeMar DeRozan, as well as Zach LaVine, who actually, especially Zach LaVine, has been heavily rumored to be on the move out of Chicago soon, as well as the quarterfinals of the NBA's in-season tournament being placed, and which will take place this upcoming Monday and Tuesday evenings. And so, with that being said, introducing our guest for this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, our brother, Mr. J. Javon Coleman. Jay is a fellow graduate of the Chicago State University, along with myself. I graduated in finance from the School of Business. Our brother Jay received his bachelor's in business marketing. Jay is Chicago bred, repping all Chicago sports from the Bears to the Bulls, Sox, Cubs, Hawks, and so forth. Jay is my friend and our friend. We thank you, my brother, for joining us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. How are you this morning, sir?
Doing excellent. Thank you for the brilliant introduction. I appreciate it from my brothers. And it's good to be here. Thank you for having me on
sir,
today.
Man. And kudos, y'all, to our brother Jay Coleman, who is in LA right now. And so, Jamar, as you can imagine, he is 2 hours prior to Chicago time, 4 hours prior to Guadalupe time. And so, this is an absolute respectable moment, my brother. Thank you for getting up and showing us the way that when you want success in life, you got to get up early. And so, yes, this meets the mantra of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. And so, I want to shock you. We want to shock you out for that, brother. Total respect there. Total respect.
I appreciate it. Like you said, early bird gets the worm, man.
I'm telling you, man, that's facts. Wisdom. Yes. Additionally, introducing my brother from another mother and one of my partners on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, but I mean, you just said the man is in Cali right now. We need to make sure he's good. I mean, it's early. It's early out there.
It's really dark outside still.
I like to say, like, the sun is barely coming up here. It's better to be pitch black where you at.
It's extremely dark outside.
Yeah, that sun gonna be coming up by the time we finish, Jay. And so, yeah, man, the early bird definitely gets the worm. And so, yeah, and introducing our partner on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast and our other brother from another mother, Mr. Ian Jones, aka Rod Tidwell. Mr. Ian Jones, my bro, what it do?
What's up? How y'all feeling this morning?
Great, bro.
Pretty good.
Yes, sir. Yes. And so it's a world. Let's get right into it. And so let's talk some Chicago sports. And so, Jay, let's start with the Bears. How the lineup goes is that we'll go with Jamar first, then we'll go with Ian, and then from there you'll chime in. And so we'll talk about this, the Bears, Bulls, etc., concerns around these teams. It's a random Chicago sports conversation barbershop. With that being said, let's talk about the Bears. So, Jamar, The Chicago Bears took care of business Monday night against the Minnesota Vikings. And, basically after the game, there were a lot of rumors and just people screaming, etc. As example, on our Instagram page, and antagonizer. And this person, got personal about our podcast, etc. Because JR brothers, Jamar and Ian, they have been standing firm that Jalen Johnson is not a $17 million a year corner. You got this guy who thinks he is, and then actually my brother stated that he believes he is. Yeah. And so with that being said, Jamar, let's first talk about the game. What did you see from the game? And from there in, I'll let you talk about your stance on why you believe Jalen Johnson is not a $17 million corner. Jay, you can just stay with once in regards to the Bears, and we just conversate. So, Jamar, break down the game for us, bro. What did you see from this game this past Tuesday that kind of frustrated the Vikings, who actually had a lot of damn chances to win the game?
Yeah.
Well, we can definitely say that over the past, I want to say maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. Defense has actually played so much better. Can you hear me?
Yeah. The defense, they've been stepping up.
Okay. All right. So yeah, our defense has played a lot better. We actually, taking the ball away now. We actually, applying pressure on the quarterback. That Montez Sweat deal is definitely paying off. It's like freeing up our guys across the board. Our linebackers have played excellent. PJ Edwards entering that game was leading the league in tackles. I mean, even Jalen Johnson has played a lot better. But we're gonna let Ian more so talk about that one. Always. And I personally, I agree with you. He's not worth 17 mil, or I don't think he's a top 10 corner in this league. I'd say top 15. I don't give him top 10. But nevertheless, no, our defense has played well. It definitely frustrated Dobbs. Dobbs coming in was, definitely on one of the hottest tears in the league as far as, making plays, having that Vikings team, more relevant. And that was a big blow for them, for the Vikings to lose that game. What frustrated me, though, was definitely the offense. Like, I get that, Brian Flores and that defense blitz head and shoulders more than any other team in that league. I get it. I think it's like about a 40-some% clip that they just blitz basically almost every down. It feels like, right? It's always some type of pressure constantly. And I get it. Yeah, and I get it. You throw the screen passes to to counter the blitz, but it's like at a certain point, like I'm sitting here, I'm waiting. Okay, all right, we gonna throw the screens. Eventually, you're gonna take a shot downfield, take a shot. Nothing. Like there was like no type of like there was no counter punch. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good, bro.
Yeah, sorry. I keep asking because computer's tweaking, but yeah, there was no counter punch at all to our offense. Like, so there's no way that we should have forced all those turnovers and only got 3 points off of those turnovers. There's no way that we shouldn't have scored we should have at least scored 1 touchdown in that game. We couldn't even do that. At times Justin, like, despite the the aggressive defense, I mean, he looked good, but then, sometimes, more so scratching my head, but more importantly, I was scratching my head more so at Luke Getsy more than anything in that game. It just baffled me. And yet, Justin fumbled those 2 times. And, that second one on the second straight possession, I'm sitting here like, man, if they lose this game, he's going to catch all this heat. But despite, the adversity that he ultimately created for himself, he did go out there and fix it and made that key third down conversion to DJ Moore for 30-some yards that set them up to ultimately win the game. So,
Get the field goal. Right.
yeah. So, nevertheless, I mean, a win is a win. I don't care how ugly it was. I mean, I'd rather be on the good side of an ugly win than on the bad side of an ugly loss. So, and it's crazy because I listen to sports radio like to and from work and stuff. And what's wild to me, they were discussing that is it possible for our head coach to still keep his job if this Bears team somehow gets 7 or 8 wins by the end of this year?
I'm thinking the same damn thing in my head. I literally thought it this week because I'm like, they've been playing better as of late, which is, and since they've been playing better as of late, would this possibly change the mind of our GM?
Exactly. Because the thing is, like, he's a defensive coordinator. He came in, like, he was a previous defensive coordinator. And the one thing that he has done in the last 4 weeks is the defense has played so much better. And now they find a way to win, let's say, 4 out the last 5 games. You got the Lions at home. You got the Browns team who's starting Joe Flacco this week. You got the Arizona Cardinals who's been abysmal at home. You got the Atlanta Falcons, needless to say that. And then you got the Green Bay Packers. I mean, it's not out the realm of possibility this team can, if that defense play the way it is, it's not out the realm of possibility this team can win some more games. And that therefore, by the end of the year, they got 7 wins or something like that, which is it out the realm of possibility that Eberflus is back one more time.
Right. And it's a crazy possibility. It's really a crazy possibility, but it's a possibility. It really is. Because also, Jay and we got to consider that prior to these last couple games, which were close, we had a backup quarterback plan. And so you could argue in that if Justin played in some of those games, right, Jay, we could have won those games too. And so it's not like the games have just been, they have rebounded since Denver. I would say that at least, y'all, which was another freaking winnable game. But that's just a big stain right there. And so I could see literally if the Bears were going to play out football this season, they both go have arguments. Oh, the quarterback was injured. If I'm the head coach, I'm in there arguing, oh, the quarterback was injured. The games were this. The margin was this. Football is a game of, inches. And so we could have and we should have won this and that. And they going to say, oh, you lost to Denver, who gave up 70 points. Oh, during the first few weeks, this. And so it could be a clash of going back and forth. But it will only be, Jamar, if the Bears continue to play relatively decent football. But it'll be an argument. But it's going to be hard to argue. It's going to be hard to argue, y'all, when you get 4 turnovers, as you did last week, and you could only put up 12 points. 4 turnovers, all field goals, no touchdowns. So it makes it really, really hard for Matt. But yeah. So Ian, you guys got anything to say to that, by the way, before we talk about Jalen Johnson?
No, we started Ian's basement early.
Okay.
I would say him keeping his job, I think that's a 50-50, man, because a lot of the times it's not how bad you're doing, it's why you're doing bad. How he lost so closely. How is he managing those games with that guy that was with the backup quarterback? What was your scheming? I don't think he'll survive. I don't. He didn't do a good job in any form or facet. Let's keep it honest here.
Yeah,
Could be, yeah. And so I could see that as well. I don't believe that he'll stay. It's always just a possibility, Jeb, bringing up the argument if you in that room at the end of the season. And so he, et cetera. But at the end of the day, the power is in the GM hand. It's in Rand Paul's hand. And so, he can come up with it, this excuse and that excuse. But likely what'll happen in the meeting is he'll say exactly what you stated. And he'll have the power. Yes, thank God for a brother having power in the Bears organization, by the way. he'll be able to state exactly what he saw, and it won't be nothing that Matt can say. And so, yeah, go ahead.
It's like you coming up with a separation with the girlfriend. You don't want to hear, hey, I'll do better this time, or I only cheated that one time because the girl was super cute. You can't. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
he's out of there. He's out of
there.
there. Come on.
I agree.
He's out of there.
Yeah. And so, yeah. I love the girlfriend analogy. And so, yeah, man, like, and this week on the Early Morning Sports Talk Podcast Instagram page, we had a loser that even after I invited him to come to the early morning, well, of course, which I did, right, guys? I invited him to come to the Early Morning Sports Talk Podcast and give his stance on why he believes that Jalen Johnson is a $17 million corner. Never got a response back. And so, with that being said, as a result, I took what was stated in Jamar, and I did a poll on the page. And so likely you guys saw it, and the people spoke, and they all agreed with Ian and Jamar. And so, Ian, there's a debate because you got a few folks that believes he is, but you stand that he's a good corner. He's possibly top 15, whatever. But he's not. He's not exactly who makes 17. And Jalen Ramsey literally changes games. We saw what he did a few weeks ago. He took the whole game over. Caught a pick at a crucial time. Got a crucial tackle. Got a fumble. Then got a pick to end the game, which is an amazing interception. Amazing. That's what a $17 million corner do. And so, yeah. Ian, what's your thoughts, bro? Tell the world why you believe that he's not a $17 million corner.
So before I go on my rant, do you guys think that he's a top 10 corner in the league?
No.
I already told you no. I don't.
If he's not, he's right outside that cusp. He's close enough. Not close enough. Not in top 10.
Yeah. So I'll even go like how the whole thing started. So I go on the page. I made a comment on probably a high school post. Then I seen, the Jalen Johnson post. So I just stated, I said, yeah, he's been locked in the last two games. He's been playing good these last two games. He's been playing like a top corner in the league these last two games. And then, but then I was like, he ain't worth $17 million a year. I'm not mad at Ryan Poles for not paying him $17 million a year. You can't have 4 picks in your 4-year career, and you just have 3 this year. So technically, he's only had 1 within the last 4 years and won $17 million a year. It don't work like that. If you're a top 10 corner, you got to have ball skills, lockdown. You got to be all the above. It can't be, oh, you locked down 30, and that's what everybody kept saying. Oh, he locked down receivers 30% of the time. They hardly throwing the ball. Fuck that. I don't want to hear that. When it comes to Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander, all the top corners in the league, they don't drop pick sixes. They're not dropping interceptions. You can't be a top cornerback. Yeah, you can't be a top cornerback in the league and your ball skills is suspect. I don't want to hear it. If I'm a defensive coordinator, you're going to give up yards. That's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you're going to give up yards like DaRon Bland did a couple of nights ago. But DaRon Bland got a pick the other night, though. He got another pick the other night. And I think he dropped it. And he almost had 2 and he dropped 1.
But keep in mind that he gambled in Bland. He gambled on that one where Metcalf ran all the way, got like an 80-yard touchdown. He just gambled. He could have just knocked the ball down. He just gambled on that one. I just want to make that case.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have those type of corners in the league, like a person like Marcus Peters. He's a gambler. Or back in the day, Asante Samuel. They gonna gamble. Trayvon did. They gonna gamble. They gonna gamble. Now, I'm not saying that the guy I'm not saying that he's a bad player. He's a bad corner. I'm not saying that. But, when you think of guys like Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander, Darius Slay, Marshawn Lattimore, it's about, come on now. It's a strew of guys that he's just not better than to me. I'm sorry. I mean, and then I feel like we have one of the worst pass defenses in the league. I mean, how you a top corner? We got one of the pass defenses in the league. And granted, I understand there's 3 more people in the secondary. I understand that. At some point, your numbers gotta add up when it's contract time, and they ain't adding up.
Mm.
Oh yeah, without an interception, how you gonna who gonna pay you $17 million a year? At best, on another team, you're going to be a number 2 corner. Now he'll be perfect in that type of situation, like. But hell, the Eagles don't need him. But he'll be perfect in the Eagles situation. But hell, I don't even think he's better than James Bradbury. And James Bradbury was on other teams at one point, just like him in a certain sense. I think he's better than James Bradbury. So he's kind of in that tier. He's a good player. I never said that he was just. I didn't say he was trash. And then on the other post, the Jalen Johnson post, and then everybody Charles Woodson or something. I'm like, bro, knock it off, dude.
Knock it off. He's not no top.
Stop it.
Good. And now he's just the best corner in the league, man. Like, come on, man. Like, knock it off.
Right.
I'm not saying the guy is a bad corner. I want him to get his money. If they give him $17 million a year, the Bears is crazy. But they not giving $17 million a year. And technically, he's not worth it. So I'm just like, I want him to get paid, but I mean, the facts is the facts. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I want my cornerbacks to get the ball back. That's the name of the game. Now, I ain't saying, of course you're gonna gamble here or there. You're gonna give up yards. I mean, it's the NFL. You're playing against the best football players, in the world. I understand that. Every play, you're not gonna lock down every play, but to say that he's top 10. Nah, I can name about 12 corners.
That's a little too high.
Yeah, I can name about 12 corners that he's not better than.
Plus, he's a victim of youth coming in. You got young guys like Joey Porter Jr. coming in and immediately being a pretty good corner. You got other rookies or second-year vets like Sauce Gardner is also putting in there early. So he's a victim of
Junior. Like they
young
better
guys.
than him. They're
Yes.
better than him.
Mm-hmm.
They're better than him. Like, yeah. And so, my brother usually have the points, but when he said that, I started to look at him like, you crazy. Really? Like,
And the guy that came on our page, so I'm assuming that he is, I don't know if he's related. He must be related to Jalen Johnson or a friend or cousin or something. I don't know. Because when I went on this page was private, of course, but he, I know that Jalen Johnson follows him, so I say he must be a family member, cousin, close friend, or something. So I get it. Take up for you. Take up for your friend. That's cool. That's fine and good. I don't knock it. If it was my cousin or something, my family, I probably would too. But I would be real though. I'm not just gonna be like, oh, he just works FTB because he's my cousin. No, if the numbers don't add up, and the play is suspect or is subpar, then I'm be like, well. He deserves a contract extension, but he probably don't deserve $17 million.
No,
right.
And they making it seem like Jalen Johnson just locked down every. I'm like, no, bro. I'm like, I don't know what game y'all watching.
Right.
Y'all trying to get cool points. I said that's cool. And then they were trying to make me change my mind. I didn't know what I was talking about. One of them told me to get a job. I said I have a job. I got a real job, bro. Trust me, I go to work every day. So I'm like, I'll let y'all have it. I said I can go back and forth because at that day I had time at work. Normally I don't have time at work. I said, but I got time today. So I said I go back and forth with you. Back and forth when the phone died.
Oh my goodness! Shout out to Jalen Johnson's cousin, man. We need you on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, brother. Make a
cousin, friend, whoever he was.
Fans for your cousin or your boy, man. Go ahead, Jamar.
No, I mean, I feel it. Like, if you related, that's your guy. You president of the fan club, whatever. Like, cool. But, dude, there's no way you a top 10 corner and you sitting here dropping 2 pick sixes, especially one against the Lions that would have won the game. Then the next play, they scored a touchdown. And then the one, like, you
on him.
Yeah, on him, like you said. And
on
then
him.
Another one. against Minnesota, he could have had right there. Like, bro, I get it. Like, you playing corner because you can't catch like a wide receiver. I get it for the most part, but still, it's like it's in your hands and you're right there. If you really a top 10 guy, you're gonna make that clutch play. You're just going to.
Right.
Like, and we're not saying he's trash. He's not trash. He's solid. He is good.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between being good and being great, and then there's a difference between being great and being elite. Jalen Ramsey is elite.
I think it's two critical things that all top 10 guys kind of follow. Either one, offensive coordinator either schemes against them, away from them, or they try to limit plays. Or two, I feel like you change the game. Like at any given moment, you can change the game if you're a top 10 at that position. Do we feel that way about Jalen Johnson? Because I can name a lot of guys I feel that way about.
Nope. I'm actually creating my list of top 10 guys now. I'm already got 8. I'm still working on it. But
So I'm gonna name off like some of the top 10 corners in the league. I'm gonna see if y'all think he's better than them.
yep.
Got Jair Alexander,
Yep.
Denzel Ward, Jalen Ramsey, Marlon Humphrey, Trayvon Diggs, Marshawn Lattimore, Xavier Howard, Tre'Davious White, healthy, J.C. Jackson, Carlton Davis, Darius Slay. Is he better than any one of those guys?
What about Patrick Surtain? What about Sauce Gardner?
Nope. What about Stephon Gilmore?
They just the highest paid.
And Deron Bland doesn't even get as much time lately, but he's been looking like he might
like a top 10 corner,
might
right?
be looking
They
like he's going toward that way.
I mean,
they gonna have to pay him more than Jalen Johnson. He broke a record.
Yeah,
right.
And it fits the description what you said. Either they scheme away from you or you change the game, right? I mean, Bland has what, six pick sixes this year? That's a game changer to me, right?
That's
a game changer.
5 out of 6. 5 out of his 6 picks has been pick sixes. Or is it 6 out of 7? Because
it's 6. It's 6. It's 6. If he intercepts the ball
the prior week, and he got one, I think, this week, right?
Yeah, he got an interception. What was that?
No,
Thursday?
Okay, it's
Monday.
5 out of
Thursday.
6, but he got a pick this week too. I know that, but it wasn't a pick 6.
Yeah,
and
he
also,
got a pick, but it wasn't a pick 6.
If you track back all those picks, if he picks that ball, they've been running back for a touchdown every single time these last couple picks. So if that's the definition of a game changer to me. If you pick the ball, I'm scared that you're going to run it in and score. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Bro,
Let's see how many interceptions.
And the one he ran it, the last one he broke the record. That was a determined man because they could have tackled that. Like they had like 3 opportunities to bring him down, and he was just that determined. Like he was gonna find the end zone.
No, he got 8 interceptions.
He got 8. Okay, because I thought he had 7.
He got 8. He got 8 interceptions, and he had 5 last year. So on his total career, he has 13 interceptions. So
13 in the last 2 years.
13 in the last 2 years, and 4 into the last 4 years, and he got 3 this year.
Bro, drop the mic.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
And Deron Bland's not even number 1 corner.
Nope.
It's
He's
Gilmore.
number 3 corner on that team.
Number 3.
Only
Right, he
reason
wouldn't
why
even be getting
Deron
paid.
Bland got the time was because of the injury of Trayvon Diggs.
Yep. And the reason why
He
they
was a
throw it over
spot
there,
man.
because you have to scheme against Stephon Gilmore. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, look, man.
Right.
I mean, I feel like we're done with this convo. What else can you say?
Right.
But back to the Bears, though. Back to my point for the Bears. Bears look, defense played awesome. Jalen Johnson, they played awesome the other night. The offense is just like, we should have had 28 points. It should have been 28-0. Easy. Why are we okay? Okay, so my thing is with Gessie. Now, I'm seeing this from the TV at home in my bed. If the corners are sitting at the first down marker, if it's 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 8, why are we not running go routes? Or why are we not throwing one-on-one balls? Pause.
Right.
Why? Why are we running screens?
Why are we
You making
running
it easy-
screens? I was screaming
making
through
it
the
easy
damn
for
TV
'em.
on my computer. Sorry.
You're making it easy for them. What are we doing? We should have easy had. That's what we got DJ Moore for.
But it seemed like we just got him to run screens. That's all they
Yeah.
do.
And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Everybody in
He
the
could take.
stadium know what's coming.
Yeah, he could take a
Everybody.
screen to. He could take a screen to the house, but I don't want to see him run 3 screens on one possession.
And
Come
that's the
on,
whole
man.
point. We don't want to see you running 4 times in a row.
And different formations and different variations. It's
Right.
like
Run the
it's
screen on that
unbelievable. It's
side.
like
Oh yeah, let's set them up on that side and go back to that side the next one.
I'm like, bro, what are we doing? What is this? Is this this Pop Warner? What are you doing? He
Yeah, you
go
do
and
a
it's
flip the
crazy.
coin. Whenever the coin
He go
says you do what the hell, it's a genie. You look at the damn genie bottom and say, run a screen again. Oh yeah, run the screen again. Like
he
I don't
goes
know what
from
to do.
now he called a great game last week in Detroit and well until
Well, in Detroit, it was a good game until the
until
last
yeah to those last
drive.
two to that last possession that they went conservative and lost the game. He called a pretty good game that game. So you go from that until this week. I'm like, bro, what are we doing? And then Justin had the 2 fumbles. So I'm like, God damn. So I was on the phone with my friend. I'm like, bro, they gonna find a way to lose this game. I
Because you was on
said,
the phone the previous week with your friend, right? Or no,
no,
you was
no, I was
talking
on.
to
No,
you was talking to your
my mom
people, right?
called me. Yeah, my mom
Okay,
called me.
yeah,
Yeah.
you talking to your people. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I'm on the phone. I'm like, bro, they gonna find a way to lose this fucking game. I say, bro, the defense has been balling. I said we got 4 interceptions. I said we only got 9 points. I said, and then Joshua Dobbs he went right down and scored a touchdown. T.J. Hawkins. I'm like, they finna lose this game. Then he fumbled twice. So I'm like, God damn, Justin. I'm like, where did you get this fumbling shit from? I said he didn't even do this at Ohio State. Like, where did this come from? So the last drive, he got it together, made a great throw on 3rd down to DJ Moore. And I'm like, thank God, that they pulled it out, for his confidence. Like the season over with, they're not going to the playoffs. They're gonna have the, 2 top 5 picks. But I'm glad they won, just for his confidence and because I could see it in his face. I'm just like, oh my God, I said we about to lose. I
Right.
said about to lose.
And so in regards to top 6 though, we are a little worried because Frank Wright was fired. And so I'm hoping that fireman was actually a blessing for us. But we're gonna talk about that in the NFL reactions and overreactions. And so
Yeah.
Jay, let's talk about the Chicago Bulls. And so yeah, basically we got a squad that actually played pretty good, Jay, without Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. The ball was flowing. Oh my God, Jamar, that ball was moving like a hot potato. Everybody was touching the ball and everybody was scoring. I'm like, oh. And we know with the Bulls, as Bulls fans and for our viewers, the Bulls love to play hot potato between Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. You gonna shoot? You gonna shoot? You gonna shoot? You gonna shoot? And so that's kind of what they do, right? But on the other hand, the ball was just flowing, and everybody was touching it. Ayo Dosunmu looked good, and oh my God, he looked good. And so, just curious, guys, we watch the Bulls. We love the Bulls with our hearts. But what is the future of the Bulls? What do you guys think they should do? Because right now we are 6-7 and 14, and it's not looking good. We got a lot of trade rumors circling around between our top 2 players. And so, Jay, I'm gonna start with you, Dan, Jamar, and if you're the Bulls, what do you do with this season, or what are you looking for? Let's just talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot to take into account. I think the cherry on top was that last game to see Alex Caruso and the guys rotating that ball a lot more, like you said, more like an actual hot potato. With the way DeRozan and LaVine plays, that's more like Killer Man. They get the ball and they're just going. They're like playing keep away from the rest of the team. It literally, like Zach looks at the other side of the court, sees an open guy. He's like, nah, I'm going to make sure I at least shoot this ball. I don't care if it goes in, hits the side of the rim.
Right.
It's leaving my hands.
Where's the lie?
No.
I'm telling you, that was just
DeRozan does it too, but Zach is a high level.
He on a different level with it.
and I understand. It seems like he received more spotlight, stardom, celebrity since he won that dunk contest, and I do believe something of that nature did kind of morph I guess his internal injury, because he did seem like he was a little bit more greedy of a player before that dunk contest. Now he seems more. He's highly skilled. Don't get me wrong. He'll be a highly skilled player on any team. Anybody would love to have him, but he does need to have his outlook a little changed, a little bit more team ball, play within the system. For a guy like Kevin Durant to be a 30, 40-point player at any given moment, to see him pass the ball as much as he do, to give his teammates an opportunity, that's a bit of an eye-opener for a guy who's not as all-NBA as this guy. So I do think they do need to trade those guys. It's been a couple years. How many years has the team's been together now? Vooch, DeMar? Third or fourth year?
Well, you can say 4 for some players. For some of them, for Zach, yeah, etc.
That's a lot of time.
This year for Zach, yeah.
That's a lot of time to get together. You can't blame the system. You can't blame my familiarity anymore, anything like that. You can't blame system. You guys have been together. If anything, and you had a team meeting, all players meeting, the first game into the season.
First hours into the season.
That should be an indicator about where this team is going. If you guys are having a team meeting after one game, they should trade those guys because there's no realistic future, no outlook. I can't, like you said, the ball's sticky with those guys. At least a team like a Sacramento with less big stars will be able to blow those guys at the gym at any given day because they play actual team ball.
Yeah. Yep. And so, yeah, man. And I'm reading that the market is dead for Zach LaVine. And it's for two reasons, because of his foot injury, but also because of what you just stated. When he gets the ball, like you and Ian just stated, he'll see somebody over there and that ball is leaving his hands. And so would that be a problem with some other teams? And so, Jamar, what's your thoughts, man, with the Bulls? What's the future?
All right. I say we all, go on Madison Avenue with some C4 in hand, put it across the United Center, and just blow this thing up. Blow it up. Like, literally, blow it up. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, first and foremost, like you mentioned, Zach LaVine, like you said, he'll look at his teammate who's wide open, look at the rim, shoot the ball, be done with it. I mean, I feel like he feels entitled that he can do that because he's getting paid $200 million to do so. You mentioned I was going with the trade market, like you said, is dead, and it's also dead because the fact that he can pay $200 million and teams at this point, other teams know he's not a number one option. He's probably not a number two option on a real contender. So that's pretty much. So are you going to pay $200 million for a third option? I don't think so, unless you really just going to say F the luxury tax and just say forget it. So yeah, somehow, some way, you might have to get rid of the man for pennies on the dollar. But I mean, he's at this point, like he could be, cancerous for this franchise if you don't get rid of him at this point. He has the lowest winning percentage of any player in the league. I mean, I guess played on a certain number of games, but that's what I read. Like in his career, I think he's been in the league about 10 years now. Like his winning percentage is like 37, 38%. Like one all-star appearance, one playoff appearance, and then and the whole thing, like, dude, and that's what they talk about. He's not
a winning player. He don't play winning basketball. He don't.
Nor is he the closer on that team. He's not even the closer. DeRozan is.
Right.
Correct.
He don't play winning basketball. He don't.
And the fact that he getting paid like the person that's supposed to be the one to ice the game for you, and he's not even that. So it's like what are you good for? Like realistically, like what are you good for any team? Like for instance, we talk about James Harden. We talked about that. Like we just kept talking about that for like the last month and a half. But it's like as you see the Sixers, addition by subtraction. That team is like looks so much better without him on the court. Right. So it's like, and as you saw, we got a small glimpse of what the Bulls looks like without neither star, right? Like you said, they actually had 32 assists in that game. Like, I'm pretty sure if I go through all the games, how many times over the course of this season, how many times have they had more than 32 assists in the game?
Sure.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to be many, if at all.
If they had one or two, if they had one or two, it was a game where Caruso stayed on the court damn near the entire game.
Yeah, that's true.
Had to be so. So yeah, I mean, there's a number of things wrong with this team. We could point to Levine, we could point to Billy Donovan, we could point to that players only meeting hours into the season. We could point to the GM for constructing this stupid team. Heck, we could definitely point to the owner for not even caring or giving a darn about any of this. Like he feel like he got his 6 rings and don't even care. We just gonna sell tickets because Michael Jordan made the brand so high, they still gonna buy tickets and give regardless.
Right.
And,
They
but
still go buy stuff overseas.
Exactly, but apparently the owner is more in love with his baseball team, but I can't even see the evidence of that one. So it's just a whole abysmal. Anything that has Jerry Reinsdorf's name under it, it's just not sustainable. So
I would even go as far to include P. Will into that blow up. The guy who they were calling Baby Claw, Kawhi Leonard in the making. That they're not willing to trade for good players.
And I don't know why.
Because every time that you see P. Will at this point, especially with that draft, Tyrese Halliburton was right there, the pick after.
Right.
So that's gonna always be attached to that draft pick. So that's all I have to say.
Facts, man. Missed out on a number of great guys. Tends to happen sometimes with the Bulls.
We missed up Maxey. They could have pushed for Maxey, Halliburton. A lot of guys. They're balling on teams right now.
Yep. There's a number of guys for sure. Yep. But yeah, bringing up Patrick Williams. Yeah, Patrick Williams. He another one that's out of his mind. Talking about Jalen Johnson being out of his mind. Talk about the damn amount of money that Patrick Williams stated he wanted. He thinks he's a $200 million player, and I can't find the word.
It's okay, man.
Don't even try. It's not even worth it.
It's not with him.
I don't. Bro. The way he makes you feel, man, I don't think you'll ever find those words.
And so, yeah, man, Patrick out here running around on 79th Street.
Maybe he go to 79th Street and learn how to play basketball.
Man, he needs to do something out that way because I don't think he's aggressive enough for a guy who's supposed to be that skilled. How he told it. He's not as aggressive. He doesn't try to create his own shots. And I think he needs to lean into that a little bit more for him to be as much as the Bulls think he is.
Yeah.
Right. So, man, I heard he was running around on 79th and at UIC, y'all running around saying he worth $200 million, and that's how everybody found out.
Yikes. So
yeah.
Corey asked this question, I guess, in regards to Zach LaVine. Could they send him to OKC with some of those mini picks and someone like Dort to make the money match, or should OKC stay away because of the chemistry? I think OKC shouldn't do anything with Zach LaVine.
Hell no. You don't want to mess that chemistry up.
I mean, it would.
Or their flexibility.
On paper, it would. They would have a damn good team, but like I said, as far as chemistry, and
you still got to pay. You're gonna have to pay SGA.
You're gonna have to pay him
you got Holmgren coming up. So you got them two as your priority
right there. And exactly what a big less,
basketball.
Right.
I don't think he's a good fit for those guys. They got too much chemistry. I feel like maybe he's more suited for a team like a Sacramento who doesn't have as much offense, who needs a second or third scorer behind Sabonis, and that's it, purely nothing else. Like a Malik Monk type of a role.
Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth, like a Malik Monk type of role. Somebody just let the ball go. Go ahead, Jamar.
Or he can go to where players die. Send him to Charlotte.
Okay, yeah. And so that's a really good question, Corey. And thanks for bringing that up. It's a really valuable question. And so, fellas, let's now talk about the NBA in-season tournament. And so the question here is we got 8 squads, y'all. And I want to ask the fellas on the panel and for our viewers, good morning to each of you, and thank you for rocking with us. Who do y'all feel is a good pick to come out of this event? As you guys know, this is a new thing. It's no big implications here, but it does give you momentum for the rest of your season, and it gives an MVP. It gives a championship game in Las Vegas. Teams are playing for real. The courts look different, like the courts look all fancy and stuff. And so it's a lot of different motivations that comes with this in-season tournament. And the Lakers have been stating that they really want to win this thing. But on the other hand, we got an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference. And so, Jamar, start with you, and as well as Jay. And so, out of these 8 teams, can you guys see the bracket first and foremost? You guys can see?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, Jamar, out of these 8 teams, who do you like to come out of the West and the East?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is a little interesting. I'm not even gonna lie. I've been more so. I've been paying attention, but not like that. I was just more so going with the flow of things. But now I'm actually like really looking at this bracket here. This is a little interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, process of elimination. It won't be Phoenix because they haven't been healthy all year. I don't even know what a fully loaded Phoenix team looks like nowadays. So that's not gonna be them. Dude, that Sacramento New Orleans matchup is interesting. That is very interesting. Lakers been hit or miss.
I definitely like Boston.
AD gotta go.
Been pretty good too.
These some games, y'all. These some games. Because Boston and Indiana, that years ago, that had been a classic matchup, right? With Al Harris and Paul, those guys. But Indiana can score, Jamar. They can put up buckets. But Boston's the best team in basketball, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to that matchup. I like that Knicks and Bucks too, though. I like that Knicks and Bucks too.
Shoot, it ain't crazy to believe that you might get a Lakers Celtics finals, right? Not at all. All right, if I gotta make a pick here, yeah, I'm gonna say Boston. If they're really trying to win this thing, I feel like if all teams are really playing their hardest here, I'm gonna go with Boston to come out the East. I guess the Lakers, but I feel like the Kings.
They give the Lakers problems. They do. Yes. I don't know why they do.
Because they're hungry. Like that's the thing. That's probably the most. They're young and hungry, and I feel like they always play with a chip on their shoulder. They always feel like they got something to prove. I mean, for one, they're in Sacramento. Nobody really paid attention to Sacramento until last year, right? Like we ain't really paid attention to Sacramento in so long that they come with that motivation. Plus, you got players like De'Aaron Fox who out here got something to prove that feels like he should be in the conversation for the best point guards in the league. Sabonis out here balling. Everybody else on that team doing their thing. So it's either the Lakers or the Kings coming out the West, and then you got the Celtics coming out the East. I think the Celtics probably win this whole thing, in all honesty.
Man, it's I got a lot to say about it when I talk. Go ahead, and your thoughts, bro.
To be honest, coming out of the West, I got the Kings coming out of the West. And I want to be biased and go with Milwaukee because my boy over there now. But I don't know, man. They lost to the Bulls the other night. But I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I'm gonna go with the Bucks and the Kings.
Maybe the Bucks will step it up since they know it's big implications. Go ahead, Jay. Can you hear me?
I think he stepped away for a second.
He stepped away.
Okay. And so basically, fellas, when I look at the bracket here, these are 4 great games. So Jamar, just an FYI, Phoenix is actually one of the top seeds in the West now, and they've been on a roll lately. They are a good basketball team, man. And shout out to Eric Gordon, and KD, who just is unstoppable. And then it's a Kobe kid. He's an African guy. Kobe, you know what I'm trying to say, Jamar. He's hooping out of his mind. Nurkic. Phoenix is nice. And I'm just as a basketball fan, saliving for seeing KD and LeBron at it again, and the matchups that they have. That's beautiful. But shout out to the Pelicans, y'all. They are a different team when Zion is on the court. They are tough, very tough. And so although Sacramento's great and young, Pelicans are great and young too. And so actually for me, if I had to pick somebody to come out the West, okay, so Jay actually stated he got kicked off. And so we'll see what happens with that. I'm gonna see if I can add him back on. But Jay, try to follow the link. And so when it comes to New Orleans, actually, guys, I think New Orleans and the Lakers make that final. I think Milwaukee sneak past New York, but New York could beat them for real, fellas. I'm just putting y'all out there to let y'all know that New York can beat Milwaukee, and Indiana can beat Boston. Only problem with the Pacers, they don't defend nobody. They can score 150 points though. But I'll go with Boston, Milwaukee, Lakers, Pelicans. And if I had to make a pick in regards to who I think will win, Jay, you back on, right?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Perfect.
If I had to make a pick, y'all, to come out, I'm actually going with the Pelicans, y'all. I'm going with the Pelicans versus the Celtics. And I think the Celtics will come out. So I got the Celtics winning it. Jay, your thoughts?
I'm mad I didn't get to go before you because you stole the words out of my mouth. Lakers are playing like a team on a mission with that $500,000 for each individual player. LeBron has went on record multiple times. There's the guy, 12th man at the end of the bench, 13th man who doesn't really get time. Those guys who don't get paid as much as us. $500,000 is a life changer. You've had Damian Lillard say stuff like that. So teams are aware of that. Lakers have every in-season game, if you track back, Lakers will lose 2-3 games before that. They'll play on Tuesday or Friday, win both of those games. So Lakers beating Phoenix, I have that because KD and those guys, as you stated, they haven't really been there. Bradley Beal, don't know if he's really going to be on the court enough with those guys this year to even have a third man. So they'll be looking like the exact same team last year, minus a few of those key players like Cam Johnson, who they gave up for Bradley Beal and things like that. So that side is judged. In terms of Pelicans, I do feel like with Zion and McCollum back, they're going to be able to kind of push past Sacramento. Sacramento always has the Lakers card, but Pelicans and Zion definitely have been playing a lot more deep down in that paint. Zion just had a 90% shot game. Was it yesterday, day before yesterday?
No, it was 100%.
Shot 11 out of 12.
It was 100%.
He missed one.
No, it's 100%.
It was a fluky, but they counted one shot against him. They counted the 12th shot. They counted the 12th shot, which he did not. He wasn't too much of a fan of. But they counted the 12th shot, so he's 90%.
Okay.
Those guys have been playing crazy, especially with that rookie Jordan Hawkins adding an additional 10 to 15 points off that bench for him. Nice, they've been playing crazy lately. So I do have the Pelicans versus Lakers on that side of the bracket. I think Milwaukee's Knicks kind of speaks for itself. Milwaukee's in a different league. I understand the Knicks.
No, they're not. Jay. Why y'all keep saying that? No,
they're in a league of their own.
Knicks
yes,
are tough,
y'all. Don't get me wrong.
They're gonna push him. They're gonna push him. I can tell you this, Jay. They gonna push Milwaukee. Milwaukee ain't been all that impressive for me this year. They ain't been all that for me. They have not been all that for me.
The Knicks slowed down Giannis. Not even necessarily the parts around Giannis, like a Drew Holiday and the rest of those guys, Middleton and everybody else. Can they even just slow down Giannis himself?
They can build a wall for him, yeah. They build him.
I don't think that wall works as much as it used to be.
No, it doesn't. I think he's kind of evolving, and he'll kind of gain an assist off that more so than he will just kind of offensive foul like he used to, like trying to run through you. He doesn't do that as much as he used to.
Yeah.
So I got Milwaukee coming out of that side for against the Knicks. And as you guys stated, Pacers give up like 130 or 40 points a game. I think they're like either 28, 29 or 30th in scoring defense. Celtics are going to eat them alive with KP, Tatum, Brown. Oh my God. The list goes on and on. Derek White. I can name at least 4 to 5 players that can get anywhere between 15 to 30 in that game against the Pacers easily. I think that's extremely one-sided. Don't get me wrong, Tyrese Halliburton is an amazing player. They got Ben Mathurin, those guys. It's just a young team that's not necessarily ready for the big boy fight yet. So I do see Celtics playing against Milwaukee, Lakers against Pelicans. I do see Pelicans beating out the Lakers. Even though LeBron's going to push, that's going to be an extremely entertaining game, if not the game of the tournament. I think that's more so look like a championship game. And then you'll have Pelicans come out on top. I do see Celtics and Pelicans in the finals. Okay. That being the Celtics coming out with the law firm, KP Brown and Tatum.
And another $500K to their bank account. But I tell you this, and thank you. We agree. We agree on that one, Jay. Now in regards to the let's say overall at the beginning, some of the stuff you agree with Jamar a lot. But in regards to the final and the winner, etc., yes. But I tell y'all this, the one I would love to see, and I think the NBA would love to see, is y'all can guess in sports. They would love to see the Lakers and Celtics for the championship. Vegas, all that on the line. That would be like the prime time thing to see. So, yeah. All right. And so, with that being said, wow, we still got our viewers with us. That is fantastic. And so, let's now.
That's a great betting angle too, Jamar and Brandon. That's a great betting angle to see Celtics and Lakers in that finals. I think that's a great prop, actually.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. My brother be all over that game. Yeah. And Victor Young stated Boston beat Indiana by 50 already this year. Yeah, the Celtics, man, look like the best team in basketball. They look like the best team in basketball. They are tough. Very tough. And so even beating up on Milwaukee is supposed to be the best team. And so, yeah. But, it's the regular season. It's the regular season. So,
it takes time.
Right. It takes time. And Damian is a different dude in the playoffs. So, yes. With that being said, NFL reactions and overreactions week 13 edition. And so, Jamar, we're going to start with you. Then we're going to go with you in. And Jay, you're going to follow up. And so, fellas, is it an overreaction to think, and I'm going to get y'all ticked off early, is it an overreaction to think that after this past Thursday night win over the Seattle Seahawks, that you guys' opinions of the Dallas Cowboys have possibly changed? So, Jamar, you in, you Jay.
Yeah, that's overreaction. I mean, look, the Cowboys are the Cowboys. Like, yes, the Cowboys are a good team. They are. Overall, they are a good team. But once again, they can, bully the teams they're supposed to bully. I mean, Seattle isn't, bad or anything like that. And Seattle actually had their number for one point in time in that game. But when it comes to the two elite teams in the NFC, we know it's a different ball game. That's what I want to see come playoff time. That's it. Because the last time I saw them in the playoffs, the last play of the game, they had Ezekiel Elliott hiking the ball. So when it comes down to the playoffs, I just want to see how Dallas is actually going to respond. That is it. That is all.
Okay. Good point. Yeah. And your thoughts, bro?
Overreaction. This is definitely a good team win for them the other night, though. I watched the whole game. So definitely a good team win. Dak's been playing. He's been playing amazing as of lately.
Lights out, haven't he?
Yeah, he's been playing amazing. Nevertheless, they do pretty good in the regular season. So like Jamar stated, so you have to go see what they do in the playoffs. They do have a big game coming up against the Eagles. I think it's next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. And they lost to them early in Philly, so they got them at home. We'll see from there, but that's overreaction.
All right, and so Jay, because some people out there believe that the Dallas Cowboys can actually break the fence this year. that they can finally break the fence this year, including Louis Riddick. And so, is it an overreaction to think that after this past Thursday night win over the Seattle Seahawks, that most people's opinions of the Dallas Cowboys has possibly changed? And so, I don't know what your opinion is of the Dallas Cowboys, but is this that team that can finally break the fence? Is it an overreaction to think that they can finally break the fence this year?
I don't even like that break the fence term when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. Are we talking about like a doggy gate, or are we talking about like a real metal fence? Because if it's a real fence, I think the Dallas Cowboys they like, like you said, consistency. Let's have this conversation after they play the Eagles again, and if that can continue to put on these such performances. Don't get me wrong, I feel like he's under pressure and he's just pretty much willing himself to have such games. But Dak's will to conquer the mountain, I think it'll come back down to what Dak's normal level is, and we'll see Dak playing like his normal self, throwing an interception per game, roughly.
Against those elite teams, huh?
When you talk about elite quarterbacks, we just talked about this about cornerbacks. It's game changing. If you're giving away the game, are you changing the game for your team, or are you changing it for the other team?
Right. Very good question. Very good question. Yes. And Dak does that against those good opponents. We saw what he did against
critical moments. At critical moments. It's not like he's doing it on the first play in the first quarter. He's doing it when a game matters the most. That's when it happens.
Right. Yes, sir. And so that's consensus on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Impressive win over the Seattle Seahawks, but we need to see it against the elites. That's the thing with the Dallas Cowboys. Beat up on the tomato cans, but we need y'all to beat some of the elites. And then there'll be belief that the Dallas Cowboys are the real deal and a real contender rather than a real pretender. All right.
And as good as he's been playing, for him to be playing away, now that I'm finally playing as good as I am, I'd be pissed that my defense is giving up as much points as they were, because when they were holding guys to 10-17 and I was sucking it up, man, oh man, were they choking me out when the defense was holding it down and I was burning the field up. So, yeah, I'd be pissed right now if I was that guy.
Yeah. Yep. And so, yes, let's progress, fellas. And so, Jamar, is it an overreaction to think that it is disrespectful to the Philadelphia Eagles that they are 3-point underdogs this weekend to the San Francisco 49ers?
So initially, I was going to say an overreaction, and then I realized, and I had to double check and look, I realized that the Eagles are at home. So,
right.
So I'm going to say this is not an overreaction, just so you know, like, if you're the home team, you automatically get 3.
Get 3.
So they're saying that on a neutral field, the Niners are actually favored by 6.
Exactly.
That's wild. And look, but I'll say this, like, me personally, I feel like the Niners are a better overall team than the Eagles are. I feel that way when fully healthy. I do feel that way, but to say that spread, yeah, that's a little wild to me. It is. I'm not gonna lie. That's wild.
Yeah, and so are we. And so, in this case, is it an overreaction to think that at home, okay, the Philadelphia Eagles, is it disrespectful that they are 3-point underdogs this weekend to the San Francisco 49ers, which again means that if they were on a neutral field, that basically people believe that the San Francisco 49ers, they are a touchdown favored over the Philadelphia Eagles, whom are 10-1 NFC champions and a possible MVP. I mean, come on, we know about the Eagles.
No, I mean, not really. I mean, the 49ers are playing great team, but Philadelphia is too. So, I mean, they're pretty equal, in my opinion. The 49ers did drop a couple games, had a couple injuries, but
it was the injuries, and so now they healthy now, and so this is why people
back healthy and they're back rolling. Yeah, so I mean, no, not really. I mean, they're two equally matched teams, so no, I don't think that's overreaction.
Jay, your thoughts, bro?
For the Eagles to be the underdog 3 points at home, that is a bit sketchy. I do feel like, the overreaction. A lot of people feel like it's not an overreaction. I do. In this case, that's crazy. to think that the Philadelphia Eagles. Did you not see that last play for the last game for Jalen Hurts? That scamper, he ran that in. It's that guy's a game. That's a game changer.
He's a gamer.
Just talking, that's a game changer.
Come on,
That's
man.
an elite quarterback. That's an elite quarterback.
Definitely worth $17 million a year.
Correct.
He get paid more than
That's
that.
a game changer. That's a game changer. That being said, like if we put special teams against special teams, defense against defense, offense against offense, we would say across the board that they're evenly matched. I would say at best, this is a 0.5 favorite type of game. I would say towards the Eagles since they are at home. If anything, the Eagles should be slightly favored, have that 0.5, with it being an extremely slim margin of victory. I think turnovers will play a huge and pivotal role in this, who will have a late game turnover. If they can avoid, any team can avoid that late game turnover, especially the Eagles, I do feel like the Eagles will be able to edge this out. So to even be favored for the San Francisco 49ers on the road against a team who has arguably the league's MVP is that's rough, man.
Yeah, it's very interesting because the Philadelphia Eagles, we see what they just did against the elites. And we see, you know, how impressive they have been. And tomorrow it's, you know, going to be a pretty cold day in Philadelphia, and they got the 49ers. And so it's very, very interesting. I think weather plays a role here. So we'll talk about the picks later. But yes, wanted to point that out because it's a very interesting thing. On the other hand, fellas.
And that raucous Philadelphia stadium, that's a different beast, man.
It's a different beast.
It's a different beast. And you're giving 3 points there? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. But this shows us how much people believe that the 49ers, when healthy, just shows how good they believe this 49ers team is. All right. On the other hand, y'all, is it an overreaction to think that if either Christian McCaffrey or Jalen Hurts have a monster game this weekend, that the winner of this statistical battle will likely be the current front runner for MVP?
I'm gonna say it's an overreaction just because even like I just feel like Jalen Hurts is head and shoulders the MVP right now. So I feel like even if McCaffrey just goes out and have 200 yards on the ground for whatever reason and 3 touchdowns, I still feel like it's Hurts' award to lose. It would have to take something a lot more for that to happen, in my opinion. So.
Okay. Ian, bro.
It's slight overreaction. Basically what Jamar said. Just like you said, a lot gotta happen for that to happen.
Okay. Yeah. Jay. And I'll go over for you one more time, my brother. Is it an overreaction to think that if either Christian McCaffrey or Jalen Hurts have a monster game this weekend, that the winner of this statistical battle will likely be the current front runner for MVP? Because there got to be these two right now, I believe, for the front runners for MVP.
Surprisingly, I do not think it'll be an overreaction. Those guys are the front runners. If you check any betting app prop, I think Hurts right now is like plus 160. I think the guy right behind him is McCaffrey. He scores damn near a touchdown every single game. That's tough because you're talking about two people who drive offensively that team. Now, what comes into play is the fact that it hurts McCaffrey that the fact that this award is more quarterback driven.
Exactly.
I can't think of a last time a running back was rookie. Was MVP. Was it Sean Alexander? If I'm not mistaken.
I think it was
Adrian Peterson.
AP. It was AP.
Yeah.
And he rushed for 2,000.
AP has
all over everybody.
He hasn't been around for a while, so that's a.
That was over 10 years ago. Yeah,
that's a long time.
I've been around 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it is leaning toward these two guys. I don't think it's overreaction, but I do think it's leaning more towards one guy with all things considered and how he's been playing and how consistent he is and how he played last year. McCaffrey wasn't necessarily viewed the same as Hurts is now. Last year, Hurts just kind of got that injury bug, so it kind of like pushed him a little bit back. You had people wanting to give it to him even after he came back from that injury. So I do not think this is an overreaction.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. All right, fellas. Is it an overreaction to think that the firing of now previous Carolina Panther head coach Frank Reich was premature and that he was not given a fair shot with his football team? Jamar.
I'll say this much. This owner, David Tepper, my gosh, like I'm gonna say this. I feel like you can never get any consistency if you don't let things like, play out more so.
Yeah.
Because when he got there, I mean, you had, Ron Rivera for I think 2 years before he let him go, but more so, I think I more so understand that one. You had Matt Rule there, which I get, but then like Frank Wright don't even get to finish his first year.
Man, actually, Jamar, this was the fourth shortest tenure for a head coach in the NFL, which I think number one was Bill Belichick with the Browns for a day.
1 day, yes, with the Jets. Yep.
Oh, Jets. Okay, Jets.
And then
to the playoffs. Sorry, Jets definitely. Yep.
And then like Steve Wilkes, who probably should have been one that you kept on because that team actually, we forget the team won 7 games last year.
They were playing hard with Steve Wilkes last year. I remember that.
They did. Like after the firing, they played hard. They ended up winning 7 games. This is a 7-win team last year, and is now gonna have no more than maybe 2 wins this year. If they get another one, maybe no more than 2, and don't even have their first round pick to show for it. But just all in all, I just feel like the owner don't know what he's doing. Like you out here paying 2 head coaches to stay away now, and you really don't have a real replacement yet. And you let your replacement, your real the one you should have hired, you let him go last year. So it's just the whole dumpster fire, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. But remember, Jamar, and as your brother, Ron Rivera was in Carolina for a long time. He was there for years, about 8-9 years, something like that.
Right. That one. So that one, I kind of get like if it just went, just ran its course, But after that, it just went downhill.
It's been a freaking circus ever since Ron Rivera left. Shout out to the Bears and the effect they have. What's up, Lil Jamar? Like in the Bears and the effect that they have. Ron Rivera's leaving and team's just going crazy. Lovie Smith left, and unfortunately, sadly, we going through a tough time with turmoil because of Lovie. But yeah. Anywho, Jay, is it an overreaction? Oh no, my bad. Is it an overreaction, bro, to think that the firing of now previous Carolina Panther head coach Frank Reich was premature and that he was not given a fair shot with this football team?
No, it's not an overreaction. So I'm on the fence with this one. I was actually looking for a post that had like the year since David Tepper has been there, as far as their owner. It's kind of been like it's just been abysmal since he's been there. They went from winning the division, winning the NFC, going to the playoffs, probably like 2-3 times in a row, and then I think they might have missed the playoffs within like a 5 or 6 year span, maybe one time, and then the year before he got there, I think they went to the wild card. Then since he's been there, it's just been downhill. Of course, Ron Rivera was over there. They were doing well. Then you get Luke Kuechly. He retires out of nowhere from concussions. Cam has the shoulders, injuries and surgeries, and then a foot, and then they end up letting him go. And so then who did they hire? Who was their coach after Ron Rivera? Was it
Matt Rule?
Yeah, it was Matt Rule. So then we go into the Matt Rule situation.
How the hell they hire him from?
That didn't work out so well. They get Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater literally got 1 year. Let Teddy Bridgewater go. Still got Christian McCaffrey. Let Christian McCaffrey go. They bring Cam back for to be
I'm
honest,
back. I'm
just to sell
back. He had us
literally
alone.
just to sell tickets. They sold a couple tickets. They lost a couple close games. He didn't play so well. Let him go. Then the next season they let Christian McCaffrey go to the 49ers. The boy been scoring touchdowns ever since he been over there. He did score a touchdown literally every game he did play with the 49ers, probably except one. Then let DJ Moore they let him go to us last year. After they said that, DJ Moore and Brian Burns was untouchable, which I never believed, but that's another story. And now they're at a point, so now they draft Bryce Young. Now they got Frank Wright as the coach, and then you don't give him a whole year. Granted, I mean the offensive line is terrible. I don't think Bryce Young is playing with the confidence that he needs to play with. And with an offensive line like that, can you blame him? I wouldn't be confident either because I think I'm gonna get hit. I come from, and granted, when you're the top pick, it's a reason why you're being picked first because you're going into a situation that's terrible.
Right.
But I think it starts from the top. I think it starts from David Tepper and it comes on down. Offensive line is trash. No, they didn't play well, and the offense was. They don't have bad players, but they just don't. They don't have what Bryce Young needs to succeed. And so,
Maybe
I
that's
really
possibly
think that.
why. Maybe that's possibly why Bryce Young got something to do with this, and maybe his development, his future, possibly. Possibly.
Yeah, yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. So I feel like it really starts from the top. So is Frank Wright at fault? Yeah, to a certain extent, but I think it even goes above that. So that's why I'm kind of on the fence with it. Not an overreaction, but I do think he deserved to, maybe another year at least, or I'll say another half a season. Now, if they went into next year and they lost, they was like 0-6 or something, then I'll say yeah, you fire him then. But I mean, who wants to go to Carolina? They have no top pick, so we have their top pick this year. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how the salary cap and the money situation is, but that's
Right.
not a
They tied up a lot of their money into Miles Sanders and don't even use the guy. Matter of fact, Chuba
yeah.
Hubbard's been a better running back for them. So you just gave Miles Sanders just a free paycheck.
Right, and like you guys stated, they had Steve Wilkes. They play hard for this kid. I mean, they play hard for the guy. I mean, Deontay Foreman ran like a crazy man over there. Trevor Herbert, they had a thing going. They won, like you said, they won 6, 7 games with him. So for him not to get the job, and I don't know, I think that starts from the top, and I think that's David Tepper. I think it starts from the top, and
Right.
I've seen Cam Newton state that recently. Ever
Right. On
since
his
he's
spot.
kind
Yeah.
of been there, it hasn't really. It's kind of been just a disaster.
Right. 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 And so yeah, Jay, is this an overreaction, bro? That this firing was premature.
I feel like that's a loaded question. It's like a loaded grenade. You got to keep in mind it's a results driven league. It's definitely a what have you done for me lately kind of a league. Even with the guy like Lovey, like you mentioned, Lovey Smith, he had 10 wins for us, I think, that year, and they still let the guy go. So, yeah, I absolutely think he should be fired. It's results driven. You got to do something. There's no way possible for you to be a professional NFL coach and only win one game. As we said, any given Sunday, right? It doesn't matter how young these guys are. You're supposed to be able to coach them up. His job is head coach. Coach those guys up. I understand that they're young players. They don't have really much winning habits, as Ian was kind of leaning towards. They don't have any winning habits. They don't have many veterans around there that actually knows what that looks like. I think they look towards their receivers who might be have a little bit more seasoning on them to kind of lead the team mentally in terms of that. But I think that's not necessarily the best position to have your leadership come from, because receivers rely on other players like a quarterback to kind of drive that. I think your leadership should be coming from like a defensive key or a quarterback or something like that. Mm-hmm. Somebody who's really driving that change throughout the organization and on the field. I think they need a reset. I do think they need to get rid of that coach, honestly, I think the owner's not. He's too quick triggered.
Yeah.
The guys that they did have that were making some changes, he was too quick to do it. Now I think it's just a domino effect. He's going to keep having to roll through coaches and coaches and coaches. Hopefully he identified the fact that, yeah, we did have a guy in Wilkes that, you know, these guys are willing to play for. Once I do get a coach like that, do not get rid of him again because he didn't get to 10 wins. 7 is a lot. 7 is 7 times more than 1.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep. And so, yeah, Jay.
Before we move on from that topic, since David Tepper's been there, they've been 30-63, no playoff appearances, 3 head coaches fired, and 1 quarterback thrown under the bus. Well, I think we know who that is.
1 quarterback thrown under the bus.
And don't get me wrong, we're all hyped when Cam was putting out those motivational videos. He was running on that treadmill, beating on his chest. Looked good, right?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's just to me it starts from the top, man. It's like you say, he's too quick to make decisions. I think I kind of feel like the Bears like this too, but that's another discussion. But you just gotta, with young quarterback, and you got a new head coach, you just gotta learn to grind it out. It ain't gonna happen overnight. I think people look at what Mahomes has done, and these other quarterbacks, and they come in, they think it's just instant success. That's not gonna happen for everybody. It don't work like that. Stuff is very situational, and Bryce is in a very bad situation right now.
He is. That's why they drafted him from Alabama. Makes sense. And so, yes. All right, fellas, let's now progress. And so, this is a really tough one for you guys, but we always try to find a way to do our NFL overreactions and reactions with a laugh. Jamar, is it an overreaction to think that after Josh Allen's overtime loss this past Monday night to the Philadelphia Eagles, that it is a higher likelihood that the Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls, and the Chicago White Sox will all win world championships before Josh Allen wins an overtime football game?
That's tough. That's tough. That's tough, man.
Josh Allen found ways to lose all his overtime football games.
Because like the man is 0-6 all time in overtime games. Heck, they even changed the rules. They changed the overtime rules because
which they shouldn't have
at all. But they changed the wheel. They changed the rules, and he's still losing overtime. So it's like
he's going to make another plea. He's going to make another plea. It's broken again.
They can find a way to give him the ball automatically first, and then give it to him again 2 other times in overtime.
If your team scores first, they score, but you score right after that, no matter what happens, you go win the game. You get to get your first victory.
Man, that's rough, man. I'm gonna say there's a slight overreaction. I'm gonna say a slight overreaction.
A slight, yeah. This should be a high. I mean, we know this is the Bears, Bulls, and Sox, fellas. And so, after we saw, is it an overreaction to think that after Josh Allen's overtime loss this past Monday night to the Eagles, that it is a high likelihood that Chicago Bears, Bulls, and Sox will all win world championships before Josh Allen wins an overtime football
game? No, that's an overreaction. He'll probably win one, but man, he keep losing them games like that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he's gonna run Stephon Diggs out of town. I think Stephon should be on his way out soon. That's just my personal opinion.
Right. Just a few weeks ago, Jay, it was an NFL overreaction and we stated after Stephon Diggs' brother Trayvon Diggs made a comment about Stephon Diggs getting out of Buffalo. A question was asked, was there a family group text message? Was it an overreaction to think that they had a family group text message that Stephon Diggs talked crap about the Buffalo Bills on? And so here we are now talking about.
That's definitely not an overreaction. They definitely.
Definitely
not an overreaction. He probably sent a group text right after that, like, "Damn, man, you probably shouldn't have said that, bro."
And so, yeah, man. Is it a no reaction to think that after this loss to the Eagles from Josh Allen, that the Bears, Bulls, Sox will win World Championship before Josh Allen win an overtime football game?
Honestly, I don't think it is. I think it's a 50-50. I think it's right on par. He's been given quite a bit of opportunity. You see how he hung his head after this opportunity loss? He doesn't. It seems like he's damn near a broken man if he gets into the situation. He knows what's coming. I feel like an overtime game is like Freddy Krueger for this guy. It's definitely giving him nightmares. He hung his head down. Like he looks so defeated. Do you really want a quarterback going into an overtime game with that defeated mentality like that? That's my question.
This is a really good point.
Look like a good guy to have out there in the overtime game?
I mean, you are making us all excited now for the next overtime game for Josh Allen, because when this happens, I'm going to be really looking at his face just to see. Like, is he worried? Does he know his history?
He looks scared.
He
looks scared. He looks scared.
Like, overtime. And so, yes. And so, fellas, appreciate you guys' interactions on NFL reactions and overreactions. And so, world, just an FYI, notable college football matchups for NCAA football championship weekend. Oh, what a wonderful time of the year. Last night, y'all, Pac-12 championship, another 3-point classic between the Washington Huskies and Oregon Ducks. Washington escaped earlier this season, fellas, 36-33. And last night, they escaped again in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. Great Pac-12 championship matchup, back and forth haymakers. But Washington has now locked themselves into the college football playoff. Congrats to them. And congrats to the quarterback who will be in New York for that Heisman. We don't know if he'll win, but he'll have a good chance, a good argument. And so, with that being said, yes, Washington Huskies, they escaped, and they are Pac-12 champions. On the other hand, this is the one I'm looking forward to, fellas. I'm looking forward to this one. Georgia versus Alabama, baby. Oh, baby. I got my food ready. I got everything ready for this one, baby. Georgia versus Alabama. Whoever win that, likely. It'll be crazy, though, because if Alabama beat Georgia, fellas, then Georgia possibly become a 4 seed. And so if they become a 4 seed, then Alabama won't even get in. I mean, Alabama will possibly get in, and Georgia. No.
If Alabama wins,
my whole point, y'all. This is my whole point. I'm confusing myself. Like, it's so
Alabama wins, they getting in for sure.
No. It's weird because if Alabama wins, they get in, and Georgia still gets in. No, if Alabama wins, Georgia still kind of get in.
You're forgetting one team. One team and that's Texas, because Texas is the one that gave Alabama that loss in Tuscaloosa with a double-digit win. Texas is ahead of Alabama. That's the one team in this equation that will
they play for the Big 12.
So they need Texas to leave. They need Texas to lose to Oklahoma State in this case in the Big 12 championship. And what you guys heard yesterday, and go ahead and in a second, that they left a dead Longhorn.
Yeah, they wow for that.
At Oklahoma
State. They overly
wow.
Yeah, that got sent to my phone yesterday. I was like, what? They wow for that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good weekend for sure.
Absolutely, man. And so, yes, fellas, Georgia, Alabama, SEC championship. Alabama, if they get in, y'all, they gonna be dang cool with that quarterback. That dude is cold. He came out of nowhere for Alabama, literally, and now Alabama look like Alabama again. I want to watch that game. Iowa versus Michigan, Big Ten championship. We likely got Michigan, but then again, y'all, Michigan is still without. They are still without Jim Harbaugh. And shout out to this brother,
He returns.
Okay, but shout out to the brother, y'all, who held it down for Michigan. Shout out to that brother. He deserves a head coaching job. What's his name?
The guy that was crying? Talking about the guy that was crying?
Yeah, the guy that was crying. Yeah. He was crying after Penn State you know, you can believe that, they did it. Yeah, man.
I don't want to shout him out.
I want to shout him out as
Come on, you know you're a big blue
black
fan.
head coach at Michigan, y'all, winning those high impact games. It was great to see, man. And so, Ian, man, men sometimes cry too, bro. On the other hand, Oklahoma State versus Texas, Big 12. That's a big one. Y'all heard about the dead Longhorn that they planted in Oklahoma State on the campus at a flat. On the other hand, Louisville versus Florida State. Big one. If Florida State lose, y'all, they out because of all these scenarios. And so, and the crazy part about it, Florida State undefeated. And so this just brings more drama, fellas. This brings more drama because next year I cannot wait till the 18th Florida come in because it won't be as much of an argument. But right now, it's chaos. It's chaos. You know? And then, additionally, Florida A&M versus Prairie View A&M for the SWAC. We got to highlight our HBCUs as well as Miami, Ohio versus Toledo for the MAC. And so, yes, world, notable college football matchups for NCAA football championship weekend. Get your popcorn ready. And so, fellas, let's not progress with our NFL Week 13 picks. I'm not going to talk too much. It's up to you guys, but I'm going to just give y'all my picks. And so with that being said, we got a variety of games coming up this weekend, a lot of great games, and it's going to be very, very fun. We got some heavyweight matchups. Not really. More so. But we got one good one. We got one good game, and that was the 49ers, right? We talking about the 49ers this week. And so there we go. All right. And so, Jamar, Dolphins or Commanders? Do the Commanders get back on track?
Man, Cancun.
Okay.
Yep, Cancun.
On three. Right. On three.
Okay. All right. Dolphins. All right. Yes. Broncos and Texans. Big game, fellas. This is wild card implications. And shout out to the Texans and CJ Stroud again, man. Like, kid ball.
Yeah, they had a crushing loss.
Crushing, man. That thing kicked off the goalpost and went dong. But it was a great game, and Jacksonville know that they got something on their hands for the future, man. We was literally saying last year, Jay, that me, Jamar, and that Jacksonville, this is a division for years to come. But now it's looking like things might have changed with these draft picks. I am not even ruling out Indianapolis for this division going forward because of Anthony Richardson and because of the team they got around. So that's going to be an interesting division going forward, the AFC South. Broncos and Texans. Jamar, who you got?
Whew. I mean, Texans got them a quarterback. Ian, what school did he go to? CJ Stroud?
The Ohio State University, baby.
Yeah, and my condolences for that tough loss last week. Like they've been balling, but it's some magic happening in Mile High these days, man.
Yes.
It's some magic happening. You know what? I've been riding. We're gonna ride again. I got Broncos.
They ain't been letting you down for the last few weeks, Jamar. You've been on the road with them. Ian, who you got, bro?
I'm gonna go Texas on this one. CJ and them come back, upset win.
Okay, yeah, that kid can ball, man. Texas looking dangerous. They looking real good. Jay,
I'm gonna go with the big O-H. CJ Stroud for the win.
Got the Texans. Yes. Whew, man, do I got to pick?
It's gonna be a CJ Stroud Tank Dale show, man.
Right. By the way, Ian and Jay, did you guys pick? Well, yeah, we all went for the Dolphins.
Pick for the Dolphins.
Right. So for me, oh man, I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
You got
Lions and Saints. Look like the Lions might have a tomato can, or do their offensive line struggles catch up with them? Jamar, who you got?
Who's the quarterback for the Saints? Is it Derek Carr? Is it Jameis Winston? Are they the same player? I think so. I got the Lions.
think we Cancun on this one. I'm going Lions.
I was going with the Lions too. I would see no reason to pick the Saints. We already forecasted what's going to happen, Jay. We forecasted last week what's going to happen with the NFC South.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what you're saying is get my betting props together with you guys then.
Yeah, man, probably come down to the last week or two with that division, and somebody go 8-9, something like that.
I think we're on a consensus here. I don't think Jameson eats a W, for lack of a better word, this season or this week. So no, we're gonna go roll with the Lions and Dan Campbell to count them all those guys.
Okay. Yeah.
With the
All right. So yeah, Falcons at the Jets, and so Aaron Rodgers, shout out to him. What a recovery! He has been set to practice. Jets got 21 days or so to respond, something like that. And so he is now available to play. But the question, as we stated last week, fellas, with NFL reactions and overreactions, is it even worth it? And so the Falcons got a chance to win a game this weekend and get themselves back in contention for the NFC South. And so if they were to win and the Saints would lose, this would be what? They'd be all like 4, 5, and 7, something like that. And so, who you got for this one, Jamar?
I did state the Falcons will win this division at the beginning of the year. I mean, my pick's still looking okay. But in this ugly game, just because Zach Wilson is not playing, I'm taking the Jets.
Okay. Yeah, Ian, who you got, bro?
I got the Falcons on this one.
Okay. And Jay?
Are they at Jets or
they're in New York. That swayed my pick, honestly.
Yeah, it'll be a sticky and an ugly game for the most part, but I don't think Desmond Ridder is going to be able to do much against that Jets defense or any Atlanta quarterbacks. For that sake, they're going to key in on Bijan Robinson this game. He is their best offensive weapon by any stretch, so therefore they're going to make them throw the ball. I don't think Ridder is going to be able to beat the Jets.
Jets, Jets. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Falcons. And the reason why I'm gonna go with the Falcons is because I've counted every time I count Desmond Ridder out, he always come and have a great game. And so I'm gonna try to go with the Falcons this week for once and just see what happens. So I think the Falcons go in and pull off a upset. But even is it an upset to beat the Jets? But I can see why the Jets will be favored because the Jets are a better football team. They are a better football team than the Falcons. It's just they got a quarterback situation. They're a better football team. Cardinals, Steelers. Arizona go up to Pittsburgh tomorrow. Who you got, Jamar?
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers. No Matt Canada. You saw Kenny Pickett throw for over 200 yards last week. I was so proud of that man to eclipse that 200 mark. I think they get Minka Fitzpatrick back tomorrow. I'm taking the Steelers.
Okay. Ian?
Cardinals in an upset.
Okay.
I know that's your guy and all, but.
Yeah, loves me Kyler Murray. And Jay, who you got?
This is a close one. It's a close one
because the Steelers never beat nobody handily. It's always a close game with them. Field goals.
And what they coming down close to the end, I do agree with Ian. I do think Cardinals and that little dynamo is going to put on a show at the end of that game. A couple of scampers, run it in at the end of the game. See the deal.
I'm going to go with the Steelers in a hard-fought one. I mean, it's the only way the Steelers seem to win. Colts at the Titans. Who you got, Jamar?
Man, no JT for the next 2 to 3 weeks. That sucks.
That sucks for the Colts.
But I'm still taking the Colts. Zach Moss, he's been a very reliable backup in that situation. I think I trust Gardner a little bit more than Will Levis. I trust the Colts defense a little bit more than the Titans defense. Victor.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Ian, who you got, bro?
Shout out to the 317. I got family out there. Going with the Colts.
All right. Yes, sir. Yay.
Then we got another consensus. I'm gonna roll with the Naptown Colts. I think Minshew Mania continues. They're gonna be able to put on a little bit more of a show. Regardless, I do think they have the better offensive weapons in terms of receivers, stuff like that. Regardless of Hop being there, I do think people key in on Hop a lot. So it kind of makes the Colts batch of receivers just a tad bit better than the Titans. They'll be able to move the ball a little bit better because they'll be keying in on Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think Colts will pull this one up.
Okay, yeah. For me, guys, I'm actually go with the Tennessee Titans. I think you mentioned Derrick Henry, and I think with them being at home, I think in this case, and I'm just confirming the location. And so, yeah, it's in Tennessee. I think that's the difference here. And so I think the Titans pull it out at home in a great game. Chargers at the Patriots. Jamar, who you got?
Look, I propose a Cancun, but I'll say this much: if the Chargers lose this game, they do not need to allow the coach back on the plane.
I get your point.
Yeah,
This could
can't
be
call. Yeah, for sure.
lose.
Should
It's
be
a
a
good
blowout
point, though,
win.
fellas. We all could agree. Brandon Staley lose this game tomorrow, it's gonna get real hot in that organization.
This already real hot.
I mean, can it get any hotter though? Is the question, and it can. It could get hotter.
Yeah.
He loses to the Patriots tomorrow, especially with Zappy and Mac Jones being benched every week, and then he get on for 3 plays and get benched again. A lot going on in New England.
With all that going on in New England, it's gonna get hotter. He gonna go from in that oven into that broiler. It's gonna get hotter.
It's over. Lose that game.
You're gonna have a nice crust on top of him at the time. You have a nice crust.
Right in his own bed.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and so yeah, I can't pick the Patriots. I do think the Chargers are the better football team. The Patriots just are a bad football team. Can they pull out some miraculous tomorrow and surprise some folks? We'll see. But do we all got the Chargers?
Oh yeah.
No, I don't. No. I think the Patriots are gonna upset them, and Brandon is gonna be on alert. Mr. Staley, Coach Staley.
Okay.
I hope you.
Oh, you
I hope you watch this, but Mr. Staley, you need to win this game, sir. You need to win this game.
So when you say alert, you mean Amber Alert, right? Because he's gonna come up missing.
I like that one. Yes, absolutely, man. I think it's a tough stretch for this guy. Don't get me wrong. Keenan Allen's gonna have a crazy game, but they're gonna. I feel like the Patriots and Belichick, with all this stuff going on, they're gonna try their hardest to try to get to right the ship. It sucks that the Chargers have to be the team that's coming in this week because they've been catching a lot of, especially Bill Belichick, been catching a lot of slack lately.
Right. Yeah. It's gonna be an interesting, very interesting game. Very interesting. Panthers, Buccaneers. Go ahead. What you about to say, Jay? Oh, okay. And so Panthers, Buccaneers, Big NFC South Championship implications. Tamar, who you got?
Another Cancun.
Yeah, if y'all with me with the team in Florida, then I'm a Cancun for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, it's pathetic as the Bucs is. For us to go with them on a Cancun is just crazy. It's nuts, and it's nuts. But you know, they got Mike Evans, man. He's a baller. He's a baller. So, you know, if he have his game tomorrow, then you know. So Bucs, yeah, we all got the Bucs.
Here's the cherry. Who was the last quarterback over for the Panthers not too long ago that plays for the opposite team?
Right.
Oh, Baker Mayfield.
Baker.
He's gonna come in. Baker with all that moxie is gonna come in and want to really, really smack those guys across the head. So I definitely see the Bucs pulling that W out.
Right. He's that type of guy. Yeah. He said he wanted to do that against the Browns, and he did earlier. And so 49ers, Eagles, big one. Jamar.
think he stepped away.
Okay. And so,
I'll pick.
yes, go ahead, and
Tough game, but love Christian McCaffrey, but I'm going to go with the black quarterback. I'm going with Jalen Hurts and the Eagles.
I mean, but he's playing great football, man. Jay, who you got? Niners, Eagles.
Yeah, I know. It's a 3-point favor towards the road team in Philadelphia against a potential MVP. But I'm gonna roll with the Eagles.
Sorry for what?
Okay.
I can see them playing, winning and playing Lil Uzi Vert. I just want to rock at the end of the game.
Yeah. And Jamar, Niners, Eagles, big game tomorrow. Who do you got for this one?
All right. Before I make my pick, who did you all pick?
Eagles.
And the Eagles too.
You made your pick already, Brendan?
No, but I'm going with the Niners.
Okay.
Really?
All right.
Yes, I am, fellas.
And you know what? It's okay, Brandon, because I'm with you. I got the Niners. Picking the Niners. Like I said, I mentioned it earlier. I feel like they're the overall better team when healthy. They're healthy. The one, like, the Eagles has been fabulous, but the one thing the Eagles are that is a glaring weakness is that secondary, that pass defense is trash. So I got the Niners.
So,
You guys do any one of you guys have the turnover numbers for each team over the last, I would say, couple of games?
No, but I can imagine the Eagles have turned it over more than the
But if
Niners.
you give me about 5 to 10
Because I
minutes,
know that
I'll be ready
with a
to play
game
this.
like that, with
Okay.
it being so tight of a
Can we set
margin,
a timer?
I do think it'll come down to
I'll be ready in
turnovers.
5 to 10 minutes. I can set a timer.
Okay.
And I'll
Yep.
play with you, okay?
And so, yeah.
Are you
Yep.
hungry?
This is true. And this will be a big game, man. But we're gonna see what's happening. Niners, Eagles, Browns, Rams. Jamar, who you got for this one?
Are we back in like 2010, 2011? This is Joe Flacco versus Matthew Stafford. Ugh.
Joe Flacco, Matthew
Ooh.
Stafford.
I don't know what skeleton is going to be out there for the Browns, but I'm going to take the Rams. I'm just not a believer of the Browns without a quarterback. Joe Flacco is not a quarterback in 2020.
Ouch.
Super Bowl winner, Joe Flacco. Ian.
Who was the teams again?
Browns.
The Joe Flacco Browns.
That describes the matchup.
I guess I'll go with the other team that's tatted on my arm. And go with Browns are they so talented.
They like
telling
the
y'all,
Jets right now.
telling y'all now. I'm picking the Browns.
They're similar to the Jets at the moment. That's pretty much what it is. It's the AFC North Jets.
Yep, they are a great team, and I think they're gonna force some turnovers.
And that's why I agree with Brandon. They are like the Jets. They beat teams that they're not supposed to beat by any stretch. They'll go against a team that's odds favorite like -1,000, and they'll beat that team. That's how this looks. It's shaping up to be one of those matchups, an upset. I feel like Flacco was looking at everyone talking, like how Jamar said, they ain't even a quarterback. Where did you come from? You just came off a couch. I think he is going to take offense to that. And with Myles Garrett and that Browns defense being as good as they are, I think they'll keep the game close enough for them to win by like a fluky field goal or something like that. And that'll kind of edge out the game. It'll be a field goal game, though.
Now, I tell y'all what, the Rams have a chance to blow them out. They have a chance if the offense comes to play and looks like how it's looked in the past. But will it look the same with that Browns defense, who is arguably one of the best defenses? So I just come with the belief, guys, that if they can beat the Steelers on the road, they can go and they can beat Baltimore. I believe they can beat the Rams too. So that's the reason why I'm gonna pick the Browns. They find ways to win these games. Chiefs,
They win ugly. They win
They
ugly.
do.
And then don't get me wrong, Puka Nacua is a great rookie, but Cooper Kupp just doesn't even necessarily look to say he had a good first game back, but he doesn't necessarily look the same in terms of lateral movements and all the things that he's able to do on the field. He doesn't necessarily look like the same athlete.
I mean, that part's true. The last thing I'll say to this is when Kyron Williams came back last week, it made me realize how different that team is with him. That offense was on fire last week.
Yeah,
I let them go.
If they get out early,
Rams
they get
game.
out early and often against the Browns. Good luck.
Right, exactly. That's my whole point with this offense. They get out, they gonna burn you. They gonna burn you in the track meet. And so that defense for the Browns play a heavy role tomorrow. Chiefs, Packers, fellas. You guys back tomorrow.
Cancun.
Okay.
Cancun.
Cancun,
yeah.
yes.
All disrespect to the Packers.
Right. No disrespect.
No. All
All with all disrespect.
Oh yeah, I agree. Okay, I agree. I was just listening.
Nah.
He
We
said not a
all
drop.
disrespect to the Packers. I totally agree. All disrespect, and I don't pick
Respectfully.
I
Respectfully.
don't pick. Yeah.
It only sucks because they have this nagging thing where they just beat up on us, but they can't really kind of beat up on
Anybody else. Yeah, man. It's like, why they just make us look like little kids. I just really don't understand it.
They little bro us every time they get a chance. They little bro us.
No, for real. Basically. Yep. And
we'll see when week 18 comes around. I'll be waiting again.
Right. So fellas, Bengals Jaguars. This a Cancun too?
It might have to be by default.
Yeah, Jaguars.
I ain't got the Bengals.
Joe Burrow.
I ain't taking no Jake Browning. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry.
Not with Jake Browning.
No disrespect, but
this one is no disrespect.
Taking Sunshine and the Jaguar.
Yeah.
Even though I hope Jamar Chase get his, but yeah, Jags.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plus they're actually still playing. Jags are playing for something like serious right now, so they're going to really be
playing for the
motivated.
number 1 seed.
They playing motivated right now.
They playing for the number 1 seed, and so, fellas, now we move on to our segment of Ian's Basement. And so, Ian, what do you quickly got for us this morning, bro?
Well, I seen some news yesterday. Reggie Bush will be going into the College Hall of Fame, which is well deserved.
About time.
Yeah,
about time. Yeah, he need the Heisman back too.
Yeah, that part
for sure. So with all the Jalen Johnson hoopla going on this week, this goes to my question of the week. Who is your favorite Chicago Bears cornerback of all time?
Ooh,
that's easy.
Easy for me.
That's easy.
All right, y'all go ahead.
We Cancun on this one.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, I think so.
Can we say the name on three? On three?
On three.
Two, three.
Tillman.
Peanut Tillman. Yep.
Peanut Tillman.
The real 33.
The real
33. The real 33.
Mr. Punch himself.
Yeah.
Guys punching the ball on other teams.
Hey,
Come on.
I'm not gonna lie though. When Peanut first got in the league, I was not a fan, but then he just started.
No, he won you over for sure. Yeah,
he did. I was not a fan, but yeah, he definitely won me over for real.
Yeah, man. We had a nucleus when Peanut was in town. We had a nucleus, man.
That was when defenses were actually playing like real defenses with him and Mike Brown and those guys. There was real defense out there.
Linebackers we had, man. Julius Peppers back. Man. I mean, come on. Back. We had it, baby. We had it.
Only if we had Justin Fields then.
Hey. Yikes. But Martellus Bennett said, well, we can't be, living in the past.
He right. I say it all the time. He right. He is absolutely right.
You sure be getting caught up in the past. Gotta focus on the future, man. And so, yes, with that being said, fellas, let's now progress and final thoughts and shout outs. And so we'll go to our guest this morning first, and then from there, Ian and Jamar. And so, with that being said, Jay, man, give us a good word. Any final thoughts and shout outs we had into the weekend?
No, I want to just thank you guys for even having me on. I know you guys are always busy spreading this beautiful information about all these sports that we're having engaged. And I know a lot of the time that people are using sports as a release, especially with COVID still kind of running rampant and a lot of stuff that's going on in this world. So I just want to thank you guys for kind of spreading positive energy and giving people something to look forward to. So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Man, for real. Yeah. And bro, any final thoughts, shout outs as we head into the weekend?
Man, just enjoy the weekend. Enjoy some good football this weekend. Basketball as well. Be safe out here. It's holiday season. Enjoy time with your loved ones, and yeah, just try to be safe. You know, it kind of get crazy around this time.
Yeah. Yep. True. Yeah. Jamar, bro, any final thoughts, shout outs as we head into the weekend?
Yeah, I got 4, but I'll make it real quick. First and foremost, thank you, Jay, for coming on once again. It's always a pleasure when you on, because I feel like I got to step up my A game when I know Jay's on. I'm like, all right, let me actually like crack open the book. Let me actually scroll through my phone here. Let me get my notes to get like, no, yeah, you definitely know your stuff. So.
I appreciate you, my guy.
Sir.
Absolutely. So, all right. So then 3 other things sports related. Shout out to Kevin Durant for now being 10th all time in scoring. He passed Moses Malone on that.
Yeah.
So congrats to KD. Third thing I'm gonna say, we kind of hinted at it, and we definitely touched on it a little bit last week. But Aaron Rodgers practice window being open again. That's remarkable.
Insane.
That is.
Insane.
Give me 1 second. And then the last thing I'll say is, remember when Tyreek Hill did that flip for that celebration in the end zone? That was like just insane. And if you saw the footage of it, the guy phone. But anyway, yeah. So apparently the guy was working with the NFL and they ended up firing him for that. And Tyreek Hill is paying the rest of his salary. It just more so goes to the NFL standing for the no fun league. Like is it really that big a deal?
Ridiculous. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like,
Shout out to Tyreek Hill though, man. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a real stand-up guy for that.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's all I got, man.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. And thanks for pointing that out, Jamar. So yeah, in regards to this, Jay, thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Graduated from the Chicago State University.
Let's
And
go.
so
I like
thank
that.
you, Ohio
I like
State.
that.
Like
I like
the
that.
Oh,
State
I like that. I
University.
like that. I like
Yes,
that.
sir, man. That school changed my life, man. When I went to that school, man, a lot of great things happened there. So, yes, with that being said, world, keep God first and remember with God, all things are possible. Have a great weekend. Enjoy all championship football, all the sports. And as Ian stated, holiday season, love on your loved ones, because truth is, you only get one mother. You only get one specific brother. You only get one specific sister. You only get one specific cousin. Get my point? And so with that being said, world, we thank you all for rocking with us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. May you all have a blessed weekend. Stay blessed. And we love you all and appreciate you all. Peace.